So what are my overall impressions of the SECURAM Touch? Do I recommend this lock? Is it my new favorite smart lock? I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you're watching Locksmith Recommended. We've done a series of videos on this lock, and there are some things I like about it and some things I don't like about it. We did the unboxing where we gave a high-level overview of the capacity, of the capabilities of the lock. We installed it on the door, showed you how easy it was to install. We went down into the app and showed you how the app worked. So what's my general impression of this lock? Is this my new favorite lock? Well, the answer to that question is no, not yet. If it lived up to the hype, if it lived up to the materials that I read online, I probably could, but it's missing some things for me that the Yale Connect by August lock has. I'll put a link to all the videos I did down this below. I'll put a link to the video I did where I discussed the other smart locks down below, and you can see why that Yale remains my favorite. There are some things I really like about this lock, so let's start there. First of all, I do like the fingerprint sensor. It works really well. You get 2 fingers enrolled, which is a nice thing to have. I do like the touch-proof screen, so I like the general appearance of it. It's also a very heavy lock. The lock itself weighs 3.5 pounds. It's all the mechanical workings in the lock are made out of stainless steel, so that's a benefit as well. No plastic pieces, so it should last a long time. I also really like on this lock this lockout feature. So when you visitors allowed. So when you add users to the lock, you can determine or set whether or not they're owners or visitors or guests, and then you can lock them out by throwing this switch. So when you're at home, people that have codes that are labeled as visitors still cannot get into the house. A little extra security advantage there, which I liked as well. And I also really like the fact that this is a high security lock. It makes it much harder to pick. Not impossible, but there are very few people that can pick high security locks. And having that access down below just makes it that much more difficult if you were trying to bypass this. So a high security key on a lock at this price point is a great one to have. So as a base lock, I really like this. If you just want an electronic lock that you can program easily, issue codes easily, this really could be the lock for you. It runs about $200 on Amazon. I'll put a link to that product down below. But now let's talk about some of the shortcomings of the lock. Now, as the base product itself, the main shortcoming it has is if you want to delete a specific user code, you can't do that. You have to delete everything. So you'll have owner codes, you'll have guest codes. If you want to delete a specific guest code, you have to delete all guest codes. And then the ones that you want, you're going to have to go back and add back in. So that's really the main shortcoming I see when it comes to programming as a standalone lock itself. Depending on how many user codes you're going to set up, that may or may not be that important to you. I also don't like that the lock is not currently graded. On a residential house, I'm looking for at least a grade 2 lock. The latch, the bolt that comes with this lock, and the screws that come with this lock, they just seem a little chintzy to me for the price point. I'd like to see something more heavy duty. Now, if this does go through the certification process and it does get a grade 2, that's going to be a moot point. What I like isn't going to matter. If it's a grade 2, it's a grade 2. But I would have liked to seen a little bit better material in the bolt itself, and I'd like to see in a $200 lock, I'd like to see it come with 3-inch screws for that strike plate so that I could really secure that to the 2x4s behind the frame. If you want to know why I think that's so important, we did a video on door reinforcement, so I'll put a link to that video down below as well. The other little, just a little thing that bothers me a little bit on this product is the batteries that come with it. I don't know if this is primarily aimed at the European market or not, but here we got AA's, AAA's, 9 volts. These are going to be hard to keep in stock, hard to find. So when your batteries die, you're going to be special ordering them or making a special trip to get them. So that's another little weakness as well, as far as I'm concerned. The lock does support Alexa, but it doesn't support any other platform at this time. I did not try it with Alexa, so I'm not sure how that's going to work for you, but that is the only virtual assistant that is supported by the lock at this time. When you get into the app, that's where I see a lot of the big problems. We had a little hiccup setting up the app, so it took us a couple tries to get that app set up. The main feature that I really liked in the app is I thought I was going to be able to monitor my door, whether or not my door was closed, like you can with the Yale Connect by August lock, which remains my favorite lock. I'll put a link to that product down below, as well as the review where we talk about all the other smart locks, so you can see why that's my smart lock compared to those and this one. But it doesn't do that. This doesn't actually do that. What this does is if you set the lock up to auto lock, it'll only auto lock, extract the bolt when the door is closed. That, by the way, is a fantastic feature if you have the app, because I've told you I don't like auto locking because it can damage the door frame. They've solved the problem with that, which is great, but it's missing that piece. It doesn't tell me whether or not the door is open, so I can't tell if one of my users just simply left the door open when they exited the property. So I don't know that my door is still ajar. So they're missing that piece. So that was sort of an oversight. On the app itself too, issuing one-time user codes seems to be great, works really well. If you want to monitor the audit trail of the lock, when it was accessed, when it was opened, when it was closed, that works really well on the app as well too. And then remotely locking and unlocking it, you can do from the app. For anywhere you have a cell phone connection. Limitations with the app, first of all, changing my user code from the app, you can't do it over Wi-Fi. You have to be near the lock within Bluetooth range to do that. That's not something I want to see. The whole purpose of having everything controlled from my phone is I want to control everything from my phone, right? I don't want to have to be near the lock to do it. But the major limitation of this app is when I want to add user codes. I have to send an email to whoever I'm giving that code to. They have to download the app and set up their own code. So that's a process I just don't want to take. I want to be able to add user, son number 1, his code's 1234, and just tell him, son, your code's 1234, and be done with it. So I think that's a huge limitation. Now the app does give you the ability to delete a single user code, which is great because I expect that in an app, but the adding process is just way too cumbersome and that needs to be changed. I also don't like in the app when users set up their code, I can't tell what their codes are and I can't change their codes from the app either. So they need to do that. So I'm not in love with the app. So I would definitely recommend this as a base product. Only go and upgrade to the app if you want that audit trail capability or you want to issue one-time codes. That's really the main feature of the app. That auto locking when the door sensor is shut is fantastic as well, but it doesn't give you the door ajar. So if you want either of those three things, that's when you're going to go ahead and upgrade to the app. Hopefully you found this series on this deadbolt fascinating. I was really interested. I had high hopes for it. It's still a really good deadbolt. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please click the like button down below and subscribe to our channel if you want to see future videos. Thanks for watching.